The evening she slid the document over the table, the room carried a scent of lemon polish and ambition. "Sign," my mother-in-law said, mirroring the calm before surgery. My husband avoided eye contact with me, which was his tell. I remained silent, refraining from questions or raising my voice. The document was like a weather forecast predicting an imminent storm that I had already prepared for. A smooth transition. My company, the product of my lifetime's labor, given up in one swift pen stroke. I pushed it back. No, her smile faltered, barely cracking. It was enough. We first met them years ago in a glass-walled cafe overlooking the river. He was kind then, or adept at feigning kindness. She praised my ambition as if it were a cause for charity. They celebrated our partnership, family ties. I trusted them because I wanted to, because I was constructing something that required equal measures of faith and investment. The company expanded faster than any of us anticipated. Patents secured, clients amassed, valuations skyrocketed until the figures felt surreal. Then the temperature shifted. His inquiries grew more pointed. Her visits multiplied. Discussions transitioned from us to ownership, from affection to manipulation. I detected trends. Late-night calls he took outdoors, altered calendars without my consent. Employees who averted their gazes at me. At first subtle, then overt. A message forwarded accidentally that wasn't meant for me. A pretense of concern masking a plan. They aimed for control, not collaboration. They sought compliance from me, so I stopped sharing confidences. I ceased correcting. I allowed them to believe I was weary, preoccupied, vulnerable. The fire broke out 2 weeks after I refused to put my signature on it. I arrived to see smoke tearing the sky and sirens gnawing at the air. My building, my nerve center, was a charred skeleton. Equipment destroyed, records soaked, years melted into insurance forms. They stood beside me, hands trembling, feigning sorrow. "Tragic," she murmured. He clutched my shoulder tightly, too forcefully. They thought they had erased me, thought desperation would complete what intimidation began. I wept in public view of cameras. I trembled in the presence of spectators. Inwardly, I tallied. I didn't initially contact the police. Instead, I phoned my attorney, then my auditor, and finally the risk analyst who had helped me plan for events most deemed unlikely, a disaster planner. For while they orchestrated damage, I was preparing for contingencies. The company wasn't confined to a single building. Its true value never resided there. It existed in escrowed intellectual property, mirrored servers, offshore safeguards, and contracts designed to withstand calamity. It dwelt in my sole name. They never questioned my motives. I spent the night setting up the board remotely, maintaining a composed demeanor. By dawn, the company had relocated. Operations continued under an unheard-of holding entity. Clients were informed, trust restored, the narrative rewritten. Then I made my subsequent call. By mid-morning, subpoenas descended discreetly. Payroll irregularities, corruption trails. Initially silent employees implicated in wrongdoing began conversing, their silence prompted by fear's efficiency. Anomalies were detected by insurance, and regulators sensed an opportunity for bloodshed. Prior to midday, my husband's accounts were frozen. I encountered them later that day at the same table, still gleaming with lemon polish, but now holding a different form of power. She initiated speech, while I countered with a folder. The contents were not a contract, but a timeline, payments, messages, a fire investigator's preliminary findings, a civil lawsuit, divorce documents. My husband's gaze finally met mine. "You orchestrated this," he stated. "I endured it," I retorted. Her voice quivered. "You'll ruin our family." I leaned closer. "You attempted to destroy me." Gradually, the truth unfolded. First confusion, followed by fear, culminating in a hollow realization that they underestimated the unassuming woman who had constructed something valuable enough to covet. That evening, he lost his board position. By the week's end, she had forfeited her social standing. The investigation became public knowledge. Friends vanished, doors shut, phones remained unanswered. Isolation was the result of the consequences. I took it further. I supported an opponent using the employees who rejected the bribe. I compensated fairly those who conceded early. I spoke calmly. I let facts inflict the damage. Revenge didn't require drama when truth was potent enough. Several months passed, and I stood in a fresh office with sleek designs and ample light. The business had improved, streamlined. Now it belonged to me. The fire had cleared away unwanted delusions. I no longer harbored anger. Instead, I felt precision, relief, the tranquil satisfaction of witnessing a scheme unfold flawlessly. They taught me lessons they hadn't intended. Never to confuse silence with weakness, never to equate control with ownership, and never to underestimate a woman who learned how to rise from ashes. I wasn't finished then. I still am not.